All right, so hi, it's me again, Sandra, and we're going to talk a little bit more about destiny. And I believe the last time I spoke about this, we were on live about this, was I had left off stating that faith is the raw, can also be the raw material that we can mold or forge our destiny from. And because I will give you an example. When I was growing up, I remember my mother used to quote a lot of Bible scriptures, and a lot of them made sense as we were coming up. They were applicable to the lessons that she was trying to teach us. So in 11:1 of Hebrews, it says that now faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. And then I heard Reverend Beckwith speak about faith, and he quoted Corinthians 5:7. For we walk by faith and not by sight. And then I went ahead and looked up another one in Corinthians that said, and I think it was 4:18. That's what I wrote down. It said, while we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things that are not seen. For the things that are seen are temporary, and the things that are not seen are eternal. And this kind of makes sense as part of this, it being something malleable that we can forge our destiny from. Because what we're doing is we're taking our physical ability to see the negative of something, and we're replacing it with that faith that God has given us. We were all born with it to forge something that's greater than just the physical that will fade away. So destiny is being forged by all this raw material and all this energy that we have, and we were given all these gifts and all these talents and all these tools to utilize to create our destiny. It's not preordained. It's just not. It's not out there, and it says, Sandra, you're destined to only do this. That would be taking our free will and throwing a stone at it and allowing it to fall under the stone, and us never being able to pick up the stone and move it. Right? Our free will can't only be used when in a term of a negative. Okay? Or our free will can't be used to apply to someone else being happy, but not ourselves. Right? It's kind of like the one thing I did read is about turning the other cheek. You know, when someone does something to you, you turn the other cheek. But that's not what it means. It means you can forgive them and move on, but you can stand up for yourself as well. Okay, if something that is done by another person doesn't make you feel happy, you definitely can stand up for yourself. There's just a way to stand up for you. If they're utilizing violence against you, violence, really, I do understand that. Violence doesn't beget violence. That just keeps that energy propelling through. So how are you going to forge your destiny to be better than someone else that's projecting their negative energy on you? Well, first of all, I knew that I had to ask myself, in the moment that people chose to try to be larger than life in my presence to make me feel smaller than life, I had to think of, well, what energy am I exuding, giving off, that I'm allowing that person with that energy to come in? Right? It's about me. There's energy that I'm giving off that is attracting somebody else into my arena of life. and bringing that energy with me, with them, right? So I had to start with me. Forging destiny is about starting with yourself. Forging the right destiny for yourself is about being honest with yourself. For me, it's not about waiting for God to complete something for me. It's not about waiting for that. God is waiting for me to say to the universe what I want. But if I don't truly know what I want because I'm not truly... how you doing? How you doing, Nicole? I hope all is well. Would you like to join me? Oh, you're calling me a legend. Thank you so much. I feel honored. Namaste. We're talking about destiny, and everybody's there are so many ways to teach this, but I was saying that sometimes forging your destiny, all the time really, it's about you. It's about where you want to start and where you want to finish. Always about you. You can invite people to your story within the destiny that you're building, yes, but it's about you. And especially individuals who come into that story of your destiny and they're bringing, I will join you another day. That's totally fine. Enjoy your sleep. Sleep well, sweetheart. So for me, I had to start asking myself, well, why did certain people come into my life while I'm forging? Yes, then you'll wake up fresh and productive. I hope you sleep well. That was Nikhil. He's such an awesome soul to speak with, and he understands humanity and the actually, let's put it this way, divine spirits in the human incarnation realm. So, but we were talking about forging our destiny. And we have to be responsible for our destiny. I just heard someone say to me yesterday, and this was not on Instagram or anything. We were just having a friend of mine and I. We were having a conversation, and my friend said that they were waiting for God to put everything in place for them. Well, the moment that you say what you want in your life and you're committed to that, then the universe, the law of attraction, God has already put that in place. Thank you, beautiful angel. Sleep well. God has already put those things in place for you. And everything is up to you to see what God is opening up for you so that you can take action, to move in to your allowing moment to receive what you have asked for, or what you are believing, for yourself. God doesn't have any wait time. He doesn't have any gray areas. He's always, they're always on the ball. Actually, they know before you know. Actually, before you even verbally say it out loud, they've already read your thoughts. And if you're thinking about that thought continuously, then the universe is saying, your wish is my command. And God is saying, make it so for her. Right? And then this is what you're going to forge. And if you're not moving into that allowing moment to find out who, what, and where God is going to make things manifest for you, then you're going to wait you're going to be on that waiting period, but it's not because of God. It's not because you're waiting on God or the universe or the laws of attraction or just the universal laws. You're waiting on yourself. And if your destiny isn't forming, you're waiting on yourself. I know that much that I found out. I was waiting on me a lot. Sometimes just being afraid to take those steps, or my mind just clouding me with, is this right? Are you sure it's right? Are you sure this is what you want? So I had to, kind of go back to the drawing board of me and go, okay, well, in order for me to forge my destiny, I've got to know me a little bit better. That's why I started Soul Awakening with Sandra, because when you're awakening, you have so many questions that need answering, and if we're allowing for our mind to answer them, our mind is going to give us the wrong answer. Why? Because our mind wants to protect us. And if our mind wants to protect us, it's not going to allow us to go down the rabbit hole of infinite possibilities. It's going to cover the rabbit hole up. It's going to cover it up in confusion. Simple, right? So when we're walking towards our destiny, we have to have faith. We simply have to have that faith to see with the eyes of the consciousness of God and not our physical eyes, those things that are unseen. Unseen things are people that have been formulating and are there for the next stage of the destiny. You go out and take a walk, and then all of a sudden you meet somebody who is doing the same thing you're doing. You start up a conversation, and all of a sudden it's like in big neon lights, this person can help me. Or this person says, oh, you do this? Well, I need this done. And you swap cards, right? Both of you are just walking your dog. Who knows? Or both of you are standing in Starbucks. I remember the time that, this was about maybe 15 years ago. Who knows? It could be almost 20 years ago. I just, as a kid, have always wanted to act. Always. And there was always these opportunities that I could have done it, but always situations and circumstances that foreshadowed me not doing it. Either there wasn't enough money when, my mother took us to the agency and took me to do it, and then my baby sister wanted to do it, and then there wasn't enough money for both of us to do it, so if both of us couldn't do it, neither of us could. Just stuff like that, right? So about 15 years ago, maybe 20, and that's about my late 40s maybe, I decided, I was just really thinking about it a lot. I had that thought on my mind continuously, that this is something I wanted to do. And I used to always go to the Starbucks, usually about the same time in the morning, to get myself a cup of coffee before I, went to work and everything, about the same time. And then on the weekends, I would go somewhere about 11:30, because that was my time to just kind of chill and move at my own pace. And a while had passed that I hadn't been there at that same time. And when I showed up, there were a couple of people who used to be there at the same time that I was, and we were all standing in line, and we were talking, and they were saying how much they had, we would always have these nice conversations. And I ended up having a conversation with a young man, not that much younger than me, but he had took his daughter to an acting class, right? And, let me step back, like a couple of weeks back. I had taken a class. I went and took a single class, just me and the teacher, and it was it was a class where they put you on TV or they put you on film, and you get to look at yourself back. And the whole class took about maybe, I think it was about 2 hours. And after I finished, I was just enthralled, and I knew that it was something that I wanted to do. Now, at that point, I didn't know if I wanted to make it a career and make money at it, but I knew that I wanted to do it. And the reason why I knew it encompassed, as a kid, my gift for gab. Every time I got a report card, my teacher would always say, she loves to talk. She's always talking. And I would get, if I got an A, I would get an A minus because I was always talking. So then I went back to the next weekend. I was back to my same routine at Starbucks, and I was talking about, to one young lady about, what I did the weekend before and how much I fell in love with it. And then the guy behind said, hey, I missed you. I've heard that you want to do, caught the acting bug. I'm waiting for my daughter to come from class. And he wrote down the name of the teacher in the class and the teacher's email address and website. So I went on and I checked it out. And for the next 4 or 5 years, I was my own agent. I booked, as many gigs as I could. And I just stepped into that arena. I stepped into classes and I was just like the sponge that's suck it up. And that was my, a beginning of a destiny, right? We have many destinies along our life journey. We think that we're on one and we focus on that one and we focus on it and we prolong it out. And sometimes destinies are made to be finished just like chapters in a book. And you move on to a new chapter, So, but had I not stepped into the action of my wanting, when the universe said, well, okay, here it is. Your wish is my command. Here it is. It was part of forging a destiny for me that moved me along until I got to the point where I started to try to utilize it as a source of income and realized that I liked acting for fun, for a hobby, more than I liked trying to make it income for me. Because I had a way to make income for me while my kids were growing. And me personally was, hello Steve, how are you? How are you doing? I hope all is well. So I decided that what I was doing was right for my kids for now, because at that point I wasn't willing to get rid of a 40-hour work week and wait tables. For me, I wasn't going to wait tables. I was already tired as being a working mom, single, divorced and single mom, and working and taking care of my kids. I wasn't going to be on my feet all day. So that was my choice. But I knew that, wow, I got to do all what I've always wanted to do as a kid at the right time, in the right time, at the right place, all through that whole adventure, or that whole part of my destiny. It was an adventure and I loved it. And I can talk about it today. It was really great. I had some great teachers. I met some great people. I read, doing class, I read a lot of great scripts. I enjoyed it. It was fun. I could understand how people would make that their career that they wanted to do. What fun it was. But for me, at that particular time, I made a choice. It wasn't what I wanted to do full time and raise my kids. So, but I allowed the raw material of faith just to lead me. It was like once I knew, it was kind of like, well, I don't know how it's going to happen, but my eyes see one thing and my faith says another thing. And that was, I think, for the 10 years or really 5 years of doing that, and 10 years of just having fun getting back into the funness of doing it as a hobby, because there was 4 years of hobby, 2 years of trying to make it work as income, and then another couple of years of moving it back to just having fun and having hobby, right? So, but even then, I didn't know that I was fully aware of that. I knew I wanted it, I knew it was happening, and I knew about the law of attraction. So, you know, I knew somehow something was guiding me. Back then, I didn't call it my soul. I just said, you know, the energy of the universe was guiding me. Now I know that it's my soul's purpose and potential within me that moves me and guides me. Now, it doesn't usurp any of my authority by me using my free will to make choices about things that I want or don't want, or that I want to try, or that I want to be a part of what I consider my unfolding destiny. Right? So we talked about that, right? And you know, within our the divine is within us. I know it's hard concept. It was a hard concept for me to tap into from a Christian Baptist upbringing, because the divine God was up there. And I wasn't going to be able to approach the divine God up there unless I changed my sinful ways, quote unquote. So for me, it was, when the law of attraction, back in 2006, I think 2000, somewhere back there, the law of attraction started hitting the fan through the video or the DVD, The Secret, and you could actually combine them with a lot of what was being said in the Bible, call those things that be not as though they already are. Ask, believe, receive, that whole genre of stepping up to the plate and having faith. So, and I knew that things were resonating. I could feel vibration. I could feel energy. I didn't know at that particular time that it was called soul energy, that it was actually a part of me, and my soul was along with me, helping me, guiding me to all my moments of destiny. That I didn't have one long great destiny. That I had all these infinite possibilities of any destiny I wanted. I thought that was cool. I thought that was like intuitive and tantalizing, and it was tickling my whole perception of me. I mean, making me giggle, like, oh, wow, not only am I a co-creator, but I'm co-creating with the creator that created everything, and I get to forge my own destiny. I get to call it what it is. I get to have faith as small as a mustard seed, and it gets to produce massive amounts of manifestations. Wow. And that's not even, that's putting it softly, but it's wow. Right? It's wake up in the morning saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. I get to start again today. I get to choose another direction. I get to choose another vehicle that I get to utilize as my chariot to take me wherever I want to forge my destiny. It could be Starbucks. It could be Best Buy. It could be, going to the laundromat if nobody has a washing machine and dryer at home. It could be just stepping outside in your neighborhood and walking your dog. It could be just that simple. And you carry your faith with you. It was given to you as a gift from Mother, Father, God, or the consciousness of God, or Source, or just God. Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha. Doesn't, you know what? Really, we think as human beings that these beings that created us care about what we call them. They don't. They don't want us to be hung up on that, because we are so worthy just to be in these bodies with a soul that is having a human incarnation through these beautiful bodies and living a great and magnificent life through the choices that we choose. We get to feel them. We get to actually see them with our two physical eyes. We get to hear them. We get to be part of them, and then we get to expand upon our journey of destiny, utilizing faith. We get to become more than we were the day before today. And then we get to go to sleep. The law of attraction's momentum gets to cease, so that our soul and our body and our mind gets on one accord, and it can begin to heal our body. The soul gets to teach the mind and the unconsciousness what I want. When I'm saying my I ams, going into those file cabinets within my brain and saying, well, here in this file is no longer for the greater good of us all, soul, body, and mind. Okay, delete. But when you delete it, you got to replace it with something. So I get to wake up the next morning and go, that was deleted. Okay, so what am I going to do next? What am I going to jump into next, right? Because destiny is constantly being created by you or me. It's individualized. Who do you want to be today? What do you want to do? What do you want to express through, in, and as you today? You want to be an entrepreneur? Well, it's already there. It's already in there. Call it out to play. I know for me it was very hard, because 40 years of being somebody else's employee through 6 companies through my life, right? 4 major companies where I was very happy and called them all, home. And the other 2, they were kind of like in between while I was transitioning. But nonetheless, I was somebody's employee, and I had it was a fixed mentality. So now, these last 3 years, I'm changing up, and you could say I'm using a different side of my brain, but I'm using all of my brain, because I'm trying to figure things out. I'm trying to make them happen. I'm listening to people who are there but not always there. I believe it's meant for individuals to get me started, and then they go into their own need or whatever, and there's nothing wrong with that, because they have to take care of themselves too. But it's meant for me to go, okay, what next? And go through that, releasing of that fear of forging my destiny and hitting the wrong button. Because I worked in jobs that always had IT to fix everything. But here, learning to work from home on my own projects, on my own businesses, sometimes you've got to make sure, well, I got everything saved somewhere. Hit the button. Okay, you want to upload something? Hit the button. If it doesn't work, try it again. Upload it. Because you're not going to delete anything. That's what my soul is telling me. Instead of sitting and blaming other people why, because those people aren't meant to forge my destiny. They might have been a part of the forging of my destiny, but I'm the forger. Right? So I wrote down that you have to make yourself available to infinite possibilities, because that's part of forging our destiny. There's a world that's within us. We are part of the consciousness of God, and consciousness of God is within us. We're not separate from the consciousness of God. You could call the consciousness of God heaven, because the consciousness of God has infinite possibilities. Just like in the Bible, that God said, I have many mansions in heaven. So it doesn't matter what you call it, but you take it with you wherever you go. God is with you wherever you go. It is not in a place that's a stable place up there. Hi, Earth Magic Shop. So, heaven, or the consciousness of God, we carry it with us. We were meant as kings and queens, gods and goddesses. As we walk, we bring the consciousness of God into the world. When we take a walk in our garden or around our neighborhood or in the woods, and we're walking, the wind and the trees acknowledge us as God. We are manifesting God consciousness every day. And God consciousness is a part of our manifesting our destiny. Right? So, yes, there's a world within. It's called the consciousness of God. Right? We observe our thoughts and make our choices, or we should be observing our thoughts and making our choices for a greater good. And that's part of us forging our destiny or building our destiny, right? Sorry about that. It was slipping. So, if we're totally conscious of what we're doing, we're leveling up. You've heard that when they talk about, leveling up and getting your mind, teaching your mind new things and discarding this and reintroducing your mind to that. But for me, when I would reintroduce things to, kind of do that mind shift and take my mind off of this and try to reinsert this, I was doing it not tapped into my soul. Well, see, if your mind doesn't have a teacher that's stronger than it, or that knows where the whole thing came from, body, mind, and soul came from the consciousness of God, and is part of the consciousness of God as we are here on earth, then your mind is going to eventually return back to the original thoughts that you had, because they're just pushed back. They're not transmuted or transformed or turned into, allowed to become energy that is for your greater good to forge your destiny. At least that's my belief, and that's the way that my soul has taught me. I'm not telling anybody that they have to think the way I think or be the way I am. Those are all your free will choices. You get to Earth Magic. Do you have any questions for me? So we begin to level up in our spiritual practices as well. That's part of our destiny too. How much do we meditate? How much do we pray? How much do we hold space for other individuals, not just only ourselves? How much do we focus on bad things that happen instead of the good things that happened that day? It's kind of like watching the news. When I start watching the news and all the news has is a succession of bad things happening, I turn it off. Because I want to hear some good news. How many people had a good day? How many businesses thrived? How many people did good, great and glorious things and helped other people out? Those kind of things. Right? I don't want to know all the time about people shooting people or people stealing from people or how the politics is doing people wrong, because that's already been said before. And once it's been said, then you have people who want to talk about it all the time. But they just want to talk about it to talk about it. It's not talking about it to change it. So what are you going to have as part of your energy base to forge your destiny? Right? So, but most human beings wait for something bad to happen, and simply because they want to say, why me? How come me? Why is this happening to me? Me. There's a deeper, more spiritual me inside of you. And it's not about the bad things that are happening to you. It's about how to take that energy and transmute it into something that is for your greater good and the greater good of the individuals that you are serving. Whether it's at your job, whether you are serving them as an employee at your job, whether it's you're serving your manager or you're serving the customers of that company, or you're helping your co-workers to complete spreadsheets or balance sheets or add material. It doesn't matter. What matters is, what are you transmuting into energy that can be for your greater good? Because that's part of your destiny. So sometimes, I wrote down, sometimes you have to come to a complete stop. Complete stop. You just stop. And that means that you can take a nap. Because the law of attraction, when you sleep or nap, it resets itself. And then you get to start again. So sometimes you just need to stop. Sometimes you need 5 minutes of meditation. Sometimes I noticed that I would just stop when I'm in the grocery store for a minute. I could be looking at something on the shelf and I'll just stop and just take a moment. No thought. Just for a moment. It gives me, body, mind, and soul, time to reset. And then I noticed that I would look up and I go, oh, I do remember this being in a different aisle. Instead of getting frustrated about not being able to find what I was looking for in the store. Or the fact that during all of this COVID stuff, maybe the stores just didn't order it anymore. And not being pissed off about that. Just taking a moment, getting in my car, instead of being pissed off, just take that moment and stop. And not think about anything. Or turn on some music to a song that just I want to sing along with. And then I've already switched and reset. It's part of my destiny. I'm forging my destiny each and every day, every moment, every now moment. It's not, I just realized, within the last year, that forging your destiny is about every now moment that you have, right? Sometimes for people, they can't come to a complete stop because they're working. Take a deep breath all the way at the top and hold it, and then let it out slowly. Do it again if you have to, and let it out slowly. It's a great reset, right? Because you're forging your destiny. You're not doing it for anybody else, and you're not waiting for them to do it and forge it for you. Your destiny is your own to forge. And your soul is your guide. Even if you're saying, well, I don't believe if I have a soul. Well, it doesn't matter if you don't believe it. It doesn't matter if you're unconscious of it. It doesn't matter if you believe it a little bit and not enough. Your soul, your body, your mind, and your soul are connected to the consciousness of God, and God is connected to every law of the universe that they created. Everything is connected, and we're all connected to each other. So what's going to happen is everything that you do that you don't believe, or everything that you do that you're unconsciously doing, is going to create something for you regardless. You're going to create your destiny regardless. I'm saying, for me, I decided I'd rather be a awake, conscious creator, forging my destiny and in love with what I'm forging. Or walking into love of forging my destiny. Enjoying every minute of it because it means that I'm enjoying life. I'm taking it to the next level. I call that leveling up. So I finished talking about faith, and next time we'll talk about being a giver, being generous. That's part of your destiny. That's part of forging your destiny. And we'll talk about that the next time. And I am so very glad that Steve William, 7101, you showed up. And I'm thank Nicole for showing up, and Earth Magic for showing up. Thank you very much, and I want you to have a great day.